Welcome to KBM Sports Talks. I'm Kevin, and today we got a interview with MoreHead State wide receiver and future All-American, and was the leading receiver in yards and was second in TDs this year in FCS, BYRD. And you guys know I've been talking about him a lot, so let's interview with him. It's a great interview. Hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure to hit that like button. Goal for today's video is to get to 4 likes. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the KBM Sports Talk family. And let's get into the interview. Okay. So I'm here with future All-American, wide receiver, hopefully future NFL draft pick, BYRD, wide receiver at MoreHead State. And this season, which is his senior season, he balled out. He led the FCS in receiving yards and was second in touchdowns. What do you feel about that? What do you feel about your season this year?
I feel like I had an amazing season this year. It was unexpected, but expected, to be honest. Like, going from having a short season in the spring, only having 400 yards in 7 or 8 games, and having 8 touchdowns. I felt like the touchdowns would be there, but not the yards. So that kind of caught me by surprise, and like it just so happened to be over 1,000 yards. That's what my goal was, to have 15 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. But I came up short on the touchdowns, but still was number 2 in all FCS for scoring.
And you're only 1 touchdown off from the tying it. He had 14. It was Gibson from SFA, Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah.
But one thing is, you're going to get the Walter Payton Award. He's not. So this year, first game, you go play at James Madison. Big boy. One of the blue bloods in FCS football. And you're playing at their home. What is your mindset going into that?
I knew it was going to be a good atmosphere because it was first game from coming off of COVID, of not having fans, and that stadium is just huge, and it was a lot of people there. Felt like a real college game, like a SCS game. Like, it was loud, you couldn't hear. The experience was just amazing. Like, I mean, I never been in a facility like that. I mean, I played at Richmond, but that's not it's not the same as James Madison. So it was just it was very shocking, but I soaked it in because it was my last year. We played them in the spring. I knew what they were all about, and it was just a good game for me.
Yeah, 9 receptions, 127 yards against the ranked in the playoff this year. I think there's 2 or 3 against the number 2 or 3 team in FCS football. I mean, you can't complain about that. So then, out of the 11 games BJ played in this year, he had 8 games where he got over 100 yards. So that's 3 games he didn't have 100 yards, and that's just astonishing. And honestly, his last game, I mean, he had 99, so I guess you can just round up. Like, honestly, 99. Just round up. I was hoping he would get that last one because I was watching the whole game. 1 little check down would have been a nice mark, but it's okay. But they still won the game. And this year, he had 2 games where put him on national spotlight. One game that really that stuck out the most was his game against Stetson, the 13th of November. His senior night, he had 12 receptions, 223 yards, and 4 TDs. That got him on College Game Day Final Live. Got him a helmet sticker. If you know what that is, if you watch it, you know it's a big thing. Got him on national television, you guys. what was your reaction to that game? Like, as the game was going on, did you know you were putting up these stats? Did you know that this was your second touchdown? That was your third touchdown. Did you know, like, were you keeping track of that in your head, or were you just playing?
I was just playing ball. I mean, the first one came easy. Like I didn't get the ball the whole drive until we got down to the goal line, and it was one pass, one catch, touchdown, and I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a game today, and it was just an ongoing thing. Me and Mark was connecting all over the field. They tried to set up things where they had a safety over the top, but it just wasn't working. And I don't know, we was just beating them over the top. Also, they had a lot of penalties as well, so that gave us the opportunity to get a free down and free. We was just taking advantage of that, and it was just like we was just playing catch.
And it was look like you 12 receptions, like you were just literally playing catch. So this year, I remember when we did our interview back on last March, you talked about working on coming back to the ball. I remember that was one of your biggest things you wanted to work on this offseason. Would you say that you worked on that and like you improved on that the most this offseason? Or was there something else that you did?
I would say I improved on that for sure, and getting in and out of my breaks and cuts to create separation from the defender, and just catching every ball that I could possibly catch that came my way, and just made sure I stayed locked in the whole game.
When you guys say stop locked in the whole game, did you notice that in the spring season and stuff like that you were like, what do you mean by that? Were you get distracted, or like what was going on with not staying locked in?
Nah, it was just more like every game is not gonna be your best game. So it's like when you're not having your best game, make sure you're still locked in and not getting carried away with something else, or getting discouraged or being down and not being a team player. Like even if you miss or drop a wide open pass, like forget about it. It's the next play. Like go out there and do it again. Like catch the ball the next time and just, forget about it. So with this year, I actually mainly caught every ball that was thrown to me. It was a few passes probably that I dropped that I should have caught, but I used that as my I used what I want to say. My quote for I used in the spring. I used it for this fall to keep me going.
What was your quote?
Just don't get distracted and catch everything. And I can't remember the actual lines, but it was something around that facility.
So when you're talking about getting discouraged and stuff like that, this year, your third game, you got that adversity. I remember watching it. It was at Austin Pay. You got double teamed that whole game. You ended up with 3 receptions, 45 yards, 1 TD. And I noticed then that after that game, your game changed. I noticed realizing that even if you got double teamed, you learned how to get through that double team. Would you say after that game, did you work on working through that double team? Like at practice and everything?
No, not really working at it. I mean, it was times where I was double teamed with the safety over top at practice, but it was more of me talking to my coach because I was getting discouraged that game because it was times where I was open, but it may not seem like I was open to the quarterback. And I was trying to I felt like I was making excuses to my coach by telling him to put me to the other side. They're not double teaming me on the other side. Like if I was to go to the other side, put me at X and stuff like that. And he was just telling me if you want to be this great receiver and want to get to the next level, it's going to be times like this where you're getting double teamed and you need to fight through it and break through it. you got to play through it. Like, it's no excuses. So that mentality stuck with me the whole year. And it was like, I do want to get to the next level. Like, I feel like I could play at the next level, and things like this will be happening. So it's like, this was a lesson learned.
Yeah, and I feel like I guess it was a lesson learned because last game you played Dayton, you had 14 receptions, 191 yards, and 3 TDs. So it's a big change in stats that after that one game, it proves that like you realized it too. Like you realized like I'm the one to be this great receiver. I gotta stop making these little excuses and just get through the adversity. And I feel like your mentality especially from the last time I interviewed you like this, it's changed so much. Like you going through the adversity, like you talked about going back to your routes, like coming back to the ball. You came back to the ball beautifully this year. That was like one of the things that stood out the most to me, that I remember you saying, I got to work on that. And you worked on it beautifully. So with that being said, are you out there every day? Like working on, like, what are you working on now out there, like every day?
Lately I be on the field every day. I try to hit the field in the weight room consistently every day. Since I don't have anything else to do, I want to just stay in shape, stay fit, and be able to stay ready for if somebody need to call my name, and I'm right then and there. I've been running my 40 time, trying to get that down as well. But I'm out there working on my feet work. I'm doing cone drills by myself when people are not looking. Like, me and my quarterback, Mark Pappas, we're out there every day. I call him up, give him a certain time that I want to hit the field. He throws to me throughout the whole route tree. We go left to right, and we just constantly just working and perfecting our craft. Like, I tried to get, like, I'm still working, getting out of my breaks and stuff like that. I'm just trying to make my routes more crispy, get that at breakaway speed, and make sure I have no drops while I'm out there, and just have a consistency of catching the ball.
So what route would you say that you have like not mastered, but have worked on the most, or you feel the most comfortable with running?
I would probably say either probably a post, or of course a fade route. That's easy, but a post or a dig and a post curl, because post curl reflects off me coming out my break and coming back to the ball.
What is the dig? Like the dig, like you said, like a post dig or something. Or actually, the post. What is a dig?
Oh, a dig is like a 10-yard in.
Oh, okay, I got it now.
Yeah, 10 or 15-yard in.
All right. So this year you didn't do kick returns. I saw you didn't do a lot of kick returns. Last spring season, you did a lot of kick returns. Why this year did you not do as many kick returns?
Because I believe the third or fourth game, I rolled my ankle against Presbyterian, and it was swollen like a big golf ball looking like type. So they took me off a kick return, and they just wanted to like save me for the game type deal, and keep me healthy throughout the whole season. I was finally able to get back on that 3 or 4 games. So like throughout the mid-season, I was hurt. But I was, so it was like they just took me off a kick return and punt return just to save my ankle.
That's honestly understandable. Like I saw that, I was confused. I just never asked you about it because I was like, you're one of the best kick returners in the league last season. What was going on? And also I just looked at your career scoring stats. You averaged a touchdown a game. I'm looking at it, says your career was 7.3. So that means you averaged a touchdown every a game. I don't know about you guys that are watching this, but that's impressive. I ain't like stroking him, but I'm just saying that's impressive as hell. Like that really is, bro. I just noticed that.
Appreciate that.
But damn, that's awesome. So this year, what would you say was the game that challenged you the most? Was it the Austin Pay game?
Yeah, I would say the Austin P game because going for, I mean, it was the third game. And I had 100 plus yards the first two games. In the third game, I'm like, I just had 3 catches for 39 or 45 yards or however many yards. And I'm like, this is no way. Like, this is a bigger FCS school, but I feel like they just out coached us we wasn't expecting that, like, for them to double team me over the top. We know they play like 5 safeties or 5 DBs, like a 3-3 look type deal. And it was just like, it was unexpected.
Yeah.
But that, like, I learned from that game the most. Figured out, like, down the line, everybody was there. They were switching up their whole defense just to scheme me. And I would have, like, their defensive coordinator or their analyst come up to me after the game and tell me, like, man, you're a dog. Like, I switched my whole defense up for you. Like, be able to have 2 people over you. Like, you were our whole scheme this week. Like, it was just crazy. Like, so yeah, he was like, man, you're a dog. And he was telling me that they switched their whole, like, defense for me. Like I was whole week. Like, their main key was number 1, BYRD. We got to guard him. Like, we have to have somebody over the top of him. Like, he was just telling me, like, man, you could play. Like, it was a catch that I made with double coverage. And he was just like, once I seen that, I knew that you was a dog. Like, it might be a tough game now. So it just made me think, like, wow, I really have people, coming up to me or switching their defense just for me. Like, I mean, that's even better for my teammates because it opens things up for them. But it's like, that should be like, that felt like a rewarding thing to hear.
Like, it humbled you in a way. Humbled you to be like, they're changing this thing because of me.
Yeah. Like, I'm not like, oh yeah, like, I kind of figured that because it was times where I come off the field, they're going to a different coverage.
Yeah.
When I get back on the field, they go back into the coverage that they needed to do to keep me from getting the ball. So it was like, okay, I see your game.
So throughout the season after that game, did you notice teams doing that? Like, their scheme would be different for you, like, when you were on the field, and then when you got off the field, it was different?
Yeah, most definitely, because I could really say that majority of everybody did it. After Austin P, Stetson tried to do it. Davidson, I mean, not Dave. Yeah, Davidson tried to do it a little bit, but they were playing a lot of cover 2, so safety gonna be over the top either way. And then San Diego tried to do it. San Diego coach is the actual one that came up to me after the analyst coach, and it was more teams, but it was just crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, Stetson,
it was more in like play.
If Stetson tried to do it, they sucked. I'm sorry. Like I said earlier, 12 receptions, 223 yards, and 4 TDs. They tried. They failed terribly. Wow. That's really wow, Stetson. Damn. But your last game at Valpo, You're in a battle right now. You know going in that you are in a battle for that number 1 yardage against Tyler Hudson. You know it. What is your mindset going to that game?
My mindset is just, do what I normally do. Just keep playing ball. Don't worry about the stats. The stats are going to be there. Just play your game and do what you got to do. And also seeing like that, I think he had that game. He had like, I don't know. I wouldn't say probably a bad game, but he had a low score, like low yardage game. And that like kind of helped me out as well because I'm like, dang, only had 99 yards. Cause I'll be watching his stats as well too. Cause obviously we're going against each other. So I'm like, okay, he got a few 100-yard games, but I'm like, he had like probably like 60 or something like that yards. And I'm like, okay, well, I had a 99-yard game and I was already on top of him. So that kind of, helped me out a lot. And then I was like, dang, I just needed 1 yard, but it really didn't make a difference.
Yeah. I'm looking up see what he had last game. There. But
because I look every week that after every game, I'm looking at the stats. Like I'm even after my game, like they ain't even played yet, or they already played. Actually, yeah, they already played. So you know how you got to wait a whole day for them to update the stuff. Yeah. I'm calculating his stats. I'm going to see who they played. I'm going to see the second and the third person that's under me. And I'm like, okay, how many yards did they have? How many touchdowns did they have? Did they have a good game? And I'm adding them up. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm still in first. So I'm like, yeah, I added up. I'm like, man, I text my coach. I'm like, I'm going to finish first in yardage. That's a good thing. The guy that's under me had a bad game. Like,
29 yards.
Yes, he only had 29 yards. And I'm like, and I had 99. That's lovely. I'm like, that helped me out tremendously a lot.
And it helps you out a lot.
We both were having some big games.
Yeah. You guys both were going back and forth all season, honestly. It was like
because I seen he had broke a school record too, 251 yards in the game. And I'm like, sheesh. I'm like, that boy balling 251. I'm like, okay. And then when I got the 223, I'm like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Like once you got the 200, you knew once you had that 200-yard game, 4 TDs, that's like the thing that like jumped you above everybody. And I feel like that's when I think it put you on the map and people started talking about you more. And I feel like,
well, definitely because you think about it, when the Walter Payton Award came out, I was not on the first right, and I only had 6 yards, so with no touchdown. So I dropped from 1 and 2 to 7 in the all FCS. So they looking at me like, okay, he's probably he's top 7. But he's not top 2. And then after the Stetson game, that boosted me right back up from 7 all the way to 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped a lot.
Yeah, that Stetson game helped you out the most. Like it was the game that literally got you on ESPN. Like it got you national attention. And say like if the thing is though, with that Walter Payton Award, I looked at it. If you look at the last winners, the only wide receiver ever to win it is Cooper Kupp. It's only other wide receiver. It's only one wide receiver ever. And the rest are quarterbacks. And I'm like, I'm like, so
yeah.
I'm like, what's
it's kind of my chances are very slim, and they have a lot of quarterbacks that's in there, and some quarterbacks is doing 76%. So I'm like looking at it like,
that kid Cole Kelly, the one that won it last year. Yeah.
James Madison, dude, he's doing good. The Southeast, he had a tremendous year too as well. And then even the Southeast Louisiana,
that's what I'm talking about.
The quarterback,
Kelly, he won it last year. He won the Walter Payton Award the past spring season.
So yeah, And that's who I'm up against. And
But
I mean, and they get another advantage too because they get to go to playoffs. So it's like,
yeah,
dang. But I don't know if they count their stats like while they're in playoffs as well, or they cut it off like right after the season. But that be my disadvantage of not going to playoffs is getting that extra game because I checked the stats again. Probably like today, and I seen that two people jumped in front of me for touchdowns. I mean, I know they both got 14, but I'm still 13, so I'm 3 in that, and I think I'm 3 in yards right now as well because everybody had an extra game.
no,
That's how it was. That's how, or 2. That's how I was in the spring as well. Everybody had we only had 7 games. Other people had 8, 9, so it was like a disadvantage.
so far we've had a really great interview. And one more question, then we'll be done. MoreHead, your colors are blue, yellow, and white. Got some cool uniforms, all blue. I see all white. What one is your favorite uniform?
Probably this year I probably gotta go with the white tops, blue bottoms. I don't think we went yellow bottoms this year, or if we did, I think I like the white tops, blue bottoms.
All right. Now, one more. It goes with it. What if you're gonna make your own custom uniform at MoreHead? What would you do for the custom? What would be the jersey color? What would be the pant color? What would you do with the helmet?
We're going black unis for sure. Some black and blue gold. We need some black unis.
Black helmet.
Yeah.
And then what would you do with the line?
What would I do with the what?
So you're gonna have a black helmet, and then what would you do for the lines in the middle? Because you like MoreHead has like, what would you do?
Either probably yellow with the blue sticker on the side. So with the blue line, with the blue sticker, some custom stuff.
Yep. Damn. Then all black and then that blue. I mean, would you do like the all black, but would it be like that solid black, or would it be like that like black that's that like this? This isn't that solid black, you know what I mean? Like it's got like reflecting a little bit, like when it's in the light, or do you just want that solid black color?
Black with blue.
Understandable. Yeah, I like that. I like it. I feel like that's the thing. It's the third person or fourth person in a row now that has said straight black uniform for custom. I think you are like I think it's the third or fourth person now, like straight black. Like really, because I know Ty did, I know Jordan did Andre or Robbie do it? I have to rewatch those and see if they did. But I know so that's 3. But I love the blacks. I think all black uniform is a thing that every team should have, even in the NFL. All blackout uniforms. They look so cool. Like then you got I always say, imagine the Chargers with the powder blue, and then the yellow. That would I would buy that jersey. I may be a Cowboy fan, but I would buy that jersey. So I think we did good on the recording. I think I can end the recording. Is there any other question you want me to ask you? Like, yeah, you want me to ask you anything else? You tell me, because I'm trying to think.
I'm okay.
All right. So I'm going to do the ending. All right. So this was a fun interview with NFL 2022 draft prospect and future All-American at MoreHead State wide receiver BYRD. Thank you for doing this interview. It's fun to do this again with you, bros. And Make sure to hit that subscribe button. You guys join the KBM Sports Talk family. We just got to 100 subscribers. Thank y'all so much. Make sure to go show some love to DJ in the comments and tag every NFL football team in the comments. And till next time. Also, hit that like button. And until next time, see ya.